morning. Appreciate everybody being here. Coming off of Saturday, what a game. It was everything that Florida State and Miami should be. It was a great game, ton of emotion, a lot of excitement throughout. Kind of a game that we needed. As we've gone through this season, there's been a lot of ups and downs. We challenge our guys and prepare our guys for their response. We talk about that being a defining factor of this program is how you responded in those situations. And from being up early to falling behind, making some mistakes, our guys never flinched, and they played to the end. They battled. I thought they gave great effort. Physicality showed up. Explosive plays, and then to be able to finish the way that we did, it was a special night for our football team. It was obviously a great night for our program. All of our fans, university. I also want to take a minute just to thank our fans, for everybody that showed up. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. To all the season ticket holders, throughout this year. It was just a tremendous amount of support. I know that having the COVID year before, which was so tough to have to deal with, just the support that we received at home. Makes a tremendous advantage for us. It's great for the support for our players, for our program in general, and it definitely brings just a level of excitement that's definitely one of a kind there at Doak Campbell. So. It was a wonderful night. Really proud of our players. You saw guys, have some of their best games. I thought Jordan Travis was exceptional. Jermaine Johnson, that was an all-time performance for that rivalry. And then you saw some newcomers that really stepped up. Amari Cooper, played as good of a game in his first start. In that game, I think he was targeted 8 times at 4 pass breakups, an interception. That's an incredible performance for that young man, and he's just continuing to grow, continuing to build in his confidence. And I thought he showed up big, and you're just really proud of our team and everybody that played a role in being able to have that outcome. It was definitely a great opportunity, and now we get to take that next step and going on the road to end ACC play. Playing a Boston College team that. They got the quarterback, returned a few weeks back. Playing really well. He is one of the better quarterbacks that we have in this league, and one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Tough, hard-nosed football team. Played really good defense. It's gonna be a great challenge for us. And just like we talked to the team yesterday, we've taken some great steps throughout the back part of this season, and we've got to continue with that. We've got to continue to grow, continue to improve. There were still some mistakes that showed up there Saturday that we have to get corrected, and but this team they believe in what's in front of us, and we're gonna work our tails off this week, and we got to go play our best ball Saturday there in Boston. But excited for the opportunity, and really just grateful for this past weekend and all that went into it.
We've asked you a lot of times after difficult games what the guys were like on Sunday. What were they like, coming back to work the next day?
Well, we had a very energized team, and it was a physical game. There was it was a full 4-quarter game, and our guys poured everything into it. But what I liked is I thought we came back with a purpose yesterday. You want to enjoy that. You give yourself time to be able to celebrate the victory, but you also have to take the lessons from the game. And that was something that I did appreciate. But good, you're really good eyes in our meetings, and we went out to the field, continued to work fundamentals. Got guys, guys that were sore, and be able to work that out a little bit, and then had a really nice developmental part of the practice there late. But I liked what I saw from our guys yesterday, and they understand what's ahead. And this is win a rivalry game, and that's big. It's big for the program, but being able to take the step afterwards is something that's critical for us. And we know the opportunity that's in front of us, and we need to go seize that. And I think that's where our guys' focus is.
Come over here to Brendan on your left. Since Jermaine
work ethic and the way he handles himself each day. Now that you've seen the production that he's had and also the way he's working with younger players, I guess beyond his impact this season, what do you think he will mean to this program years from now after he's gone?
Yeah, you know, when your best players are your hardest workers and you know, they can be that example of what it takes. You know, it's huge. It's huge for the young guys. It's huge for the guys that work side by side, you know, next to him. And you know, I think we've got a core group of leaders that have really tried to be that example. And you know, it's definitely you know, there's a different feel to things when you walk out on the practice field, and you know, you see that work ethic and how that you know translate out on game day, and you know, just the energy, the endurance, the strength, the power, all those things that show up in his game. You know, we get to see it, you know, every day in practice, and that's it's a great example for our young guys, and you know, he's made an incredible impact. But just like when we had our first conversation, you know, this was something that we both talked about. You know, I wanted him to have an opportunity to do what he's doing this year, but coupled with that, to be a leader, to be somebody that could help mentor younger guys, to you know, be able to make an impact that goes beyond just the year period of time that he's going to be here, that will carry on and to help set that foundation. I think he's definitely done that.
We'll go to Jerry at the third row.
Coach, you talk about the emotion, what the role that plays in a game like this, and I kind of have two questions. One is, how did your team seem to be very focused for the atmosphere, and where Miami didn't early on, and you jumped out to a big lead? I want you to talk about that. But then the second question is, after Miami made their run 28-3, you found a way to respond to that run, that swing of emotion. And can you talk about how that happens?
You know, at the beginning, you know, that's something we talked about throughout the course of the week, and you know, we knew that you know, it was going to be an emotional game. It was going to be an emotional start, but poise and control is something that's so critical in those moments. You know, you know, we have a team meeting on Friday where, you know, I took about 10 clips and used them as examples of things that we could expect to see. And if we could respond in a positive way or we could respond in a negative way, but where do we want our advantage? And you know, control, you know, poise, you know, those are things that you know, could be an advantage for you if you allow them to be. And I thought our guys were very emotional, and but for the most part, I thought we were able to keep that under control to still be able to go out and execute in the moment. You know, as the game went, and there was the swing of momentum, and you know, we had some negative plays, some missed opportunities, and you know, give credit to them. They responded. They hit some plays. But you know, what I loved was the sideline, and that's where I always get my feel of what does it look like? What does it feel like? And you know, there was nobody that was hanging their head. Nobody was panicked. It was just, hey, focus on the next play. Let's go out there and let's respond the way that we need to. Going into the fourth quarter, that was as both teams were there, you know, around midfield. I mean, that was something that was kind of a surreal moment, and I was pretty glad to be a part of that. But it was, you know, it was emotional, and that's what it should be in that game, as long as everybody can collect their emotions and make sure that they still control themselves the right way. But you know, I thought it was an incredible atmosphere. I thought our guys, you know, were able to stay focused, you know, there in the moment. And you know, it's one of the things we talked about, you know, 2 weeks ago at Clemson. You know, we found success there, you know, late in the fourth quarter, but we weren't able to sustain that with some of the little things that were necessary. And you know, our guys answered the bell, and that was a big message for our team, is that no matter what situation that you found yourself in last week, man, you answer the bell, you answer the call, whether it's you know field goal team on a 4th and 3 and make a decision to kick a field goal. Man, they got to go out there and they got to execute. Defense have to have a stop. They went out there and executed. Offense, 2-minute drive, have to answer the call that you know, whether it's a 4th and 14, man, let's do our job. And all those things stacked together and just created an incredible finish. And you know, I was really proud of our guys for not getting too high, not getting too low in the emotional swings that game had, and it allowed them to have success.
We'll go to the right side to Gene.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you about the fourth down conversion from Jordan to Andrew there. Obviously, at the end of the game, that was huge for you guys. But we've seen that in practice a couple times. But in a game, in a pressure situation like that, for Jordan to come through and have that confidence, what does that say about how far he's come in that environment to make that kind of a decisive throw?
And it means everything. It speaks volumes to his growth and his development. And I thought he played his best game. The impact he had. In the game, everybody will always point to what he does with his legs, but you look at the times where he was able to step up into the pocket, wherever he made those decisive throws into tight windows, and 4th and 14, game on the line, you got to make the play, and he just took a great drop, worked up in the pocket, and delivered the ball in a very tight window, and that's the growth that you need to see, and sometimes we get caught up on Jordan's still very, very young in the process of starting games, and he's been very productive in the opportunities that he's had, and we're excited about what we're seeing from him. But you look at the last 3 games that he's played, and just the efficiency in the passing game has become so much better. Whether it's intermediate passing game, obviously I think he's got a great talent in pushing the ball down the field, but you see the confidence emerging, and for it to show up in that moment was critical. It was a game winner, and that's what you need from your starting quarterback. And you see that confidence that's really starting to come from him, and you'll play it and play out.
All right, we'll go to the front row for Kurt.
We saw him going to the locker room at one point. Was it an arm or an elbow? Is he good coming into the week? And then how hopeful are you may get a couple guys who I know were close to playing who couldn't go last week, maybe back this next week?
We'll see how this week's goes. Jordan was he had took a couple shots, and had there were some challenging moments there in that game, but I was so proud of him, and that's even what makes the finish that much more special, because to say that he was feeling 100%, probably would be a stretch, but he went out there, and he was able to focus on the details, on his job, be able to block the other things out, and I fully expect him to be ready to go and have a great week of practice. And then we'll see how it goes with the other guys that were kind of close this past week that weren't able to be full go. But as practice week goes on, we'll get a better sense of that.
All right, we'll go to the third row, Corey.
Mike, how much does it help? Your 2 big recruiting weekends, I know you can't talk about specific recruits, were the Notre Dame game in that atmosphere, and that game, and then this one. When you're looking at building a class and building a program, how special are those moments? How special can they be to lure in the kind of talent you're trying to lure in?
No, it's huge, and it was a busy weekend. We had double-digit official visitors. We had 100 unofficial visitors. It was we put a lot into it, and for us to go out and play and to have the type of performance, the atmosphere. That's our fan base is special, and every opportunity that a young man or a family gets to see and feel that experience. It's one of a kind, and that's why I mentioned in the opening statements just how grateful I am for our fans, for what they do and what they mean, not only for the game and the individual experience, but what they mean for the big picture approach of as we're attracting the best and the brightest in future classes. When they see that, when they feel that, it's remarkable, and they know the support that's here. They feel the passion and the energy, and then for them to get to watch our team and how we play, that's been the message. And I know we talked about it earlier in the year, but that's what I care about. The young men that we're bringing into the program now and for the future. They get a chance to be difference makers. We're building the foundation, and I love the growth that I'm seeing from our team and how they respond, and the heart, the passion, the culture that's being established. These kids care about each other, and you watch that on the field, you watch it on the sideline, you feel it in the locker room, and kids want to be a part of that, where it's bigger than themselves, but an opportunity to come in and make an impact. I think it's special, and it was a great weekend for us, and I was glad that we were able to have some incredible visitors that you were able to take part of that. But for our fan base, our team, and just that performance was special.
All right, we'll go to Ira.
I think a lot of times we in the media and fans, when you see a quarterback and you kind of screaming at him like, just stay in the pocket or just step up in the pocket. We don't have 300-pound dudes running at us. And then also Jordan's got that ability with his legs. It would seem like such a great tool to have in that situation to like, hey, let me make something happen. How hard has he worked at, like you said, on that play, stepping up and trusting that that play's going to be there?
And he's a tremendous playmaker, and finding that balance. There's you don't want, and there's times we've seen where he's probably been a little quick to run, and trying to allow him to be patient and let things develop. And he says it all the time. Credit those guys up front. I mean, they're doing a good job, and they're working hard in their improvement. You can see the confidence that's developing and emerging, with our offensive line, and that trust is built over time, and the trust in what Jordan could do in the passing game, the trust what his offensive line and running backs and tight ends could do in protections, and then just the continuity with the receivers, and that's something that that pass that he made to Andrew. I mean, it was an anticipation throw into a window. I mean, it was beautiful, and it took all three levels to make that happen, and that's where that trust is developed. It obviously starts out there on the practice field, but then it carries over when you get those in-game experiences, and you just build that with each rep. But he's put a lot of work into it. I think Coach Dillingham's doing a great job in helping him develop and giving him the tools and just the understanding of how that timing, how that rhythm, all those things can work. And then there's gonna be times where he's gonna go out there and be a playmaker. And we're dang glad when he does that as well. But it's just making sure that he trusts the process and the timing of what that should look like.
We'll come back over here to Brendan.
With the Maureen Cooper, I know he's been coming on the last few weeks. I guess what have you seen to feel confident to put him in the starting lineup with this magnitude of game? Can you also discuss the recruiting process with him? I guess what you saw as a recruit.
Yeah, he was somebody, starting off in the recruiting process. I just loved the way that he played the game. I mean, it was, he showed versatility, showed, being able to play press, being able to play off, really, fluid mover, would find ways to make an impact. And, just a tremendous young man. I love getting to know him, his family, in the recruiting process, and just, obviously it helped, with Coach Chaney down there, former Knoll, that, kind of provided some great insight, to who the young man was, the work ethic, and it just checked all the boxes for what we're looking for. And as he came in, it was, unfortunately, he had an unbelievable summer. Like, love watching his movements, all the things that we thought we were going to get. We felt very confident in just the competitor that he was, through just, the weight room workouts and what he was doing out there in the agility workouts. I mean, it was unfortunate because he missed the first, I think it was the first 2 weeks of fall camp, and so kind of put him a little bit behind, but in the repetition of what we were doing defensively. But as he got rolling, started building that confidence, started growing. We started picking our places where to get him in more and more, and he kept making plays, and it was in the right spot. Even times wherever there was a negative play, just it didn't faze him. He went to the next play. He learned from it. He's an ultimate competitor out on the practice field, and so we felt this was the time. And there's a lot of thought that goes into it. But when you earn the opportunity, you got to seize that opportunity, and he definitely did that throughout the course of the game. Interception was a huge play there early in it, and then when you're a true freshman, you're out there on an island, you're gonna get targeted. And for him to respond that way with the PBUs and just the mentality of what he took throughout the course of that game, it was special.
We'll go back over to the right for Gene.
Mike, Miami came into this game maybe one of the hottest offensive teams in the nation, scoring just tons of points and everyone. If not for a couple weird plays, you might have held them in the teens. I guess, what did you do? What was the defense doing so effectively to limit them? Why, to follow up on that, why is the defense so much better now than it was just, it seems like, a few weeks ago?
Well, I mean, they're trusting the process of growth, and a lot of the things, our communication is so much better. Our guys are taking ownership in that. It's something as a coach you talk about early in camp, you talk about through the early part of the season, and when guys embrace and take that accountability of, and this has to get done. And I think our defensive backfield is doing a much better job of staying on top of routes. We've seen. I thought they did a phenomenal job in taking and matching up routes and being able to take away a lot of things that Miami had success with in the passing game. They still hit us on. We had a couple of wheel routes that were they did a good job in play designs, and but overall I thought that was impressive. And then when you have the guys up front that can stop the run, I mean it was a dominating performance in the run game. And in a rivalry game, I mean whoever can run the football and whoever can stop the run is going to have a chance to win the game. And I thought our forcing unit, I mean. I don't even remember what the total rushing yards were from the game, but it was they got after them, and I was really proud of that. And if we can continue to stop the run, you allow those guys to play with confidence and communication there in the back end. You're just going to continue to grow. I think Coach Floyd has done a remarkable job with the defensive staff and helping these guys develop and just continuing to put them in good positions, but also you see the confidence that's emerging from them in what they can do.
All right, we'll stay there for Ira.
Thought maybe the biggest hit of the day might have been Odell giving you that hug after the game. You mentioned growing up watching that game. Like, what was it like just seeing his and Coach Dugan's, some of the other people who've been around for a long time, their reaction?
It was special, and I told Odell, we're all excited, but man, that was he shook me like in ways I didn't know I could be shook. But it was special, and that's what makes this place. I mean, because it's the game, but what it means, and it means so much to our program, to our fan base, but to those players. And we had a lot of former players that were at the game, a lot of former players that got an opportunity to be around our guys, and you see it in their eyes. And coming in after we finished, and that was special. And just grateful for the examples that Odell, Ron, I'll tell you even Coach Shannon, from a different perspective. He was pretty jacked up there after the game also. So it was a fun experience to have, but it's one that it's so much more than just the game because of all that goes into it. I don't talk about any other games. There's two that I mentioned. Right, whenever we report for camp, and everything you do for 365 days a year puts you in position to be able to have a chance to be successful. And but your identity, who you are as a program, the heart, the character, the team, those things all have to show up. And when you get that moment, and especially to have a game like that, it means a lot.
All right, we're gonna go two more, Gene.
Mike, with all the emotion in this game, like you said, there's one or two games a year where the emotions are just through the roof in this game. And there are some times your guys could have taken the bait, and we've seen it happen in this series time and time again, but your guys never did that. How do you want to be emotional, you want to be excited about the game at the same point, not to lose composure. How do you coach that differently in a game like this?
You've got, the guys have to believe, in all reality. It's one of the hardest things to do is to, in the moment with all the emotions that are swinging, to maintain control. And I think that's one of the keys to being successful in life. And everything we do within our program is, and especially on the practice field in the weight room, we try to push guys to the limit, and where they want to have an emotional response, but maintain control, maintain composure, be able to respond in a way that's going to help you and benefit in the situation. Being a disciplined football team, being a smart football team, that's critical to the success that we have. It's the number one thing. We say, here at Florida State, how do we want to play? We want to play smart. Well, you can't play smart and be undisciplined. So that is something that we continue to harp on. But I dang sure want them to play passionate. I love playing this game. I love coaching this game. I love being around it. If you don't have passion, then you need to go do something else. But where do you go in the moment? If you get checked, if something bad happens, you get knocked down, right? Maintain the composure in your mind and go respond the way that you are capable of responding, but do it the right way. And I was really pleased, throughout the course of the game. It wasn't perfect. There's still things that we've taken opportunities to even point back to and say, man, we could have been better there. We could have been better in maybe how we handled this, but. At the end of the day, our kids believe, and they are starting to see the value of what that mindset can be and what it can do for them, because it does bring a competitive advantage to being able to achieve success.
All right, last one will be Brendan over here to your left.
The the third down stop you guys had before the game-winning drive on defense that Jermaine hustles from across the field, Duke sticks his nose in there. Does that play, is that culturally what?
Absolutely.
What you're
I mean, and you're at, trust me, everybody's, you know, tired, probably bodies, I mean, it's crunch time in that moment. And when you see the effort, when you see the passion, when you see the physicality, you know, you see a will. I mean, the will to win, the will to be able to give all that you have, to put us in a position to be successful. You know, we talk to our guys all the time, you know, hard work doesn't guarantee success. It just puts you in the best position to be able to achieve it. And, you know, that's where it has to pay off. And these guys make an incredible investment, but it's definitely, you know, an opportunity to showcase the identity of what we want this football team to be. And, you know, we're doing a better job of consistently trying to show that, but we still have a lot of work to do. But those are those key plays that you really can point to and say, you know what, this is what it needs to look like. And, you know, our guys, you know, they're buying into that.
All right, thank you,
All
Coach.
right, thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too, coach.
All right, appreciate y'all.